Volkswagen Golf GTI versus Ford Focus ST. Two hot hatch icons go head to head in the famous Edmunds comparison. Hello, I'm Alistair Weaver, your host and your referee, and I'm joined by two esteemed Edmunds editors, Mike Monticello making a case for the ST, and James Riswick advocating the GTI. The first category up is driving experience. James, tell me about the handling of the GTI.
Well, the new GTI, it's playful, it encourages you to drive hard, it's a heck of a lot of fun. And at the same time, it has more power for 2015, and it doesn't feel all frenetic like the Focus ST does, although you might actually prefer that.
Well, I kind of do. I mean, most cars these days are kind of boring, and the Focus ST is far from boring. I like that when you get hard on the throttle exiting a turn, it wants to rip the steering out of your hands. But more than that, this is one of the best handling front-wheel drive cars ever made. When you lift off the throttle through a turn, the tail actually steps out. But even better than the handling is how much power it has. It has 252 horsepower out of this turbo 4-cylinder. There's power everywhere on the tach. And I will admit that the GTI is a little quicker 0 to 60, but that's if you get the performance package and you get the DSG and you have launch control. Out on the road, because the Focus ST has more torque, it actually feels faster.
Yeah, actually the power is a lot more similar than it used to be. But so is the ride comfort. The GTI does not have the clear ride advantage that it used to have.
Yeah, that's what the GTI was known for, and the Focus ST, I think, is actually a little more comfortable.
Yeah, I might have to agree with you there. But with the GTI, you can get it with an automatic transmission. Would we get it with an automatic transmission? No,
Absolutely not.
No, because the manual is really good on the GTI. But hey, at least you can.
For me, this is all about what you want from your sport compact or your hot hatch. The Golf might be marginally easier to live with day by day, but the Focus is much more fun to drive, and that's why it gets the first point. Moving on to value, surely Ford beats Volkswagen, right Mike?
Well, I think the Focus ST does give you more for the money. I mean, right off the bat, it costs a few $100 less than the GTI, and it's an even bigger price difference if you opt for the DSG paddle shift transmission. Then you're talking even more money.
Well, maybe so, but the GTI does give you more stuff for your money. You have heated front seats, you have heated mirrors, LED fog lights, you have emergency telematics, satellite radio, and power reclining seats with the 4-door. Plus, it's bigger. At the same time, the GTI gets better fuel economy, 28 miles per gallon combined with both transmissions. The Focus is 26 miles per gallon combined.
And what's that going to save you, like $50 a year?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you also got to look at, in terms of value, Edmunds' true cost to own showed with the last gen GTI that it would cost about $3,000 more than a Focus ST over a 5-year period, thanks to depreciation and higher insurance and repair costs. So you got to think about that too when you talk about value.
So not only does the Focus offer more bang for buck, it's also the sounder long-term investment. It gets another point. But surely the GTI can strike back with its fabled interior quality and effortless German chic.
It absolutely does, but I would argue that it's actually its interior space that really wins the day, because it has a much more usable back seat, especially for adults, and it has a more useful trunk. Sure, it has 1 cubic foot less space than the Focus, but with the seats down, it's 8 cubic feet more. You know, it is a little more utilitarian, especially with that squared off roof line. It's a little better suited to carrying around your mountain bikes and whatever outdoor leisure activity stuff you use.
Well, you know I like throwing bikes in the back of cars, that's true. But what I want to talk about is the Focus ST's Recaro front sports seats you can get in this car. Yes, it's part of a $2,500 package, but they're super well bolstered. It totally fits with the driving enthusiast environment inside this car. Thick-rimmed steering wheel, pedals placed really well for heel and towing. This is really the driver's car.
I do like the ST's sense of fun, but for its better quality and for its more practical interior, my point goes to the Golf. So it's the final round and the famous wild card where anything goes and I get to choose the points. So Mike, to parler français, does the ST have a certain je ne sais quoi?
Jenna said what? For me, the wild card for the Focus ST is that you can only get it with a 6-speed manual transmission, no automatics. And while that might seem like a wild card for the GTI, it's a wild card for the Focus because Ford is basically saying, we only want real driving enthusiasts to buy this car. No posers allowed. If you can't use a clutch pedal, then we don't want you buying our car.
So they want fewer sales, basically, is what you're
I
saying.
guess it sounds like that.
Yeah, well, the thing I like about the GTI is that it's less boy racery. It's a little more grown up in appearance. I'd be more happy to show up on a first date in the GTI than in the Focus ST. The other thing about the GTI, it's available in a two-door body style, and you can get it with tartan upholstery. I'm half Scottish, and frankly, that counts a lot for me.
Tartan. So it's bad enough I got to translate Canadian dialect on a weekly basis. Now I got to translate Scottish. Here in America, we say plaid.
Well, I'm afraid I'm with Mike here. You buy your Sport Compact because you want a fun driving experience. And the GTI, while a fine car, is maybe a bit too sensible for its own good. So, 1 point to the ST. And so, overall, it isn't even close. The ST gets 3 points, the GTI a mere 1. Tell us, what do you think should have won? Or would you throw in a wild card of your own? Be sure to click here for full reviews of the GTI and the ST, and of course you should subscribe to the Edmunds channel for all the latest videos.